Should you create different content on Facebook than you put on YouTube? Should your podcast be an overlap of the audio from your videos? Should your Instagram feed, your videos on IGTV, should they be different from Facebook or from YouTube? I'm going to answer all of those questions today for you on this episode of the Do This, Sell More Show. Hi, it's Dave Lorenzo, and this is the Do This, Sell More Show. Our focus here is to help you make more money and get home on time for dinner every night. We do that by giving you a quick strategy in the area of sales or marketing or business development, but our focus is on growing your revenue every day. And we're here every day at 5 p.m. on YouTube, every day at 9 a.m. on the podcast. So be sure and subscribe on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so that you're notified when we go live and we do interviews with new and exciting people all the time. And if you're on the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, leave us a review because your comments, your feedback are critically important to us. Let's talk about content. As I just mentioned, this show, the Do This, Sell More show, is brand new every day at 5 p.m. on YouTube. Then about 30 days later, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, we include some of the content from the video show in the podcast. I also record exclusive content solely for the audio version of the podcast, but the content is so good, it's so rich, and the audience is different. So I have no problem sharing the same content, similar content, overlapping content on multiple media platforms. And that's the bottom line. If you're concerned about where you should release your content, video, audio content, or even written content, if you're concerned about people seeing it in multiple places, you're thinking about the wrong things. Your content should focus on who your audience is and how to reach them in the best way possible. I have three different audiences, really. I have entrepreneurs, people who own their own businesses that are interested in growing revenue. And for those folks, sales strategies, marketing strategies, and business growth strategies in general are really important. They also want to know about growing, managing a business, as well as hiring employees. So I share all that content with them. I also share all kinds of tips and strategies for surviving if you're traveling on the road and you're in sales, or if you want to balance work and home life. I share all that stuff because that's who I am and that's what my audience wants. But my audience is segmented in very different ways. The videos are focused on teaching and tips. The reason the videos are focused on teaching and tips is because the way my audience is right now as I'm recording this, that's what they're coming to me for. They're doing Google searches looking for specific tips. Like this particular video, or if you're listening, this particular audio podcast, people may be searching for content management or how to manage content or how to create sales content or overlapping sales content. People are coming to me on video right now searching for how-to videos. So that's what I create and post on the video. The podcast, oftentimes you'll get a little bit more personality. I will record an exclusive audio intro to some of the learning segments and I introduce them in a different way. And the audio tips I include on the podcast also include business travel tips. They also include my work-life balance stuff. They also include how to survive as a solo entrepreneur. And the reason I include those on the podcast, in addition to the how-to tips, is because podcast people are usually at the gym or they're walking a dog or they're listening to me while their flight is boarding, they're getting on a plane. So those things are important to that segment of the audience. That segment of the audience is auditory learning, and they also want to be entertained. So the podcast can be a little bit freer flowing. I don't include a lot of that stuff on the video segments because the video people are there to learn really quick and get out. If it takes 15 minutes for me to cover a learning topic on video, my folks are fine with that, but it better be very specific and structured, and it better be fast moving in the video. On the podcast, those folks are doing something else. So I'm in the background. I can take my time a little bit more. There can be a little bit more relationship development. The podcast folks are willing to give me the little extra time because they're driving in the car on the way to an appointment. And again, I'm on in the background. I'm a secondary passive experience for them in that way. Instagram, very focused, very specific, very quick hitting in the Instagram videos. The Instagram videos that come up in the feed, very fast, very quick hitting, 1 minute, I'm in and I'm out. The IGTV videos can be almost identical to the videos that I put on YouTube. The reason that I overlap YouTube with the IGTV videos is because it's a different audience. The Instagram audience, the IGTV, the Instagram TV audience is younger. They may be millennials or millennial entrepreneurs or millennial sales folks who are interested in getting a quick tip before they go into the meeting, and they're on their Instagram feed just seeing what their friends are doing anyway, scrolling up. And they come across me and they're thinking to themselves, maybe I can get something I can use today in a meeting and I can learn something really good while I'm waiting to get into the office to meet with a decision maker. Different audience, but good content that they want just the same. But those videos tend to be more compressed. I tend to keep them a little bit shorter, a little bit faster hitting, because that's the nature of the Instagram audience. My Facebook audience is older people who are probably not as social media savvy. I can do longer form videos, I can do short videos, I can do some live stuff there, and it's an international audience that's with me on Facebook. Whereas my YouTube audience tends to be mostly US-based, English-speaking folks, my Facebook audience tends to be global. So I tend to do things in a little bit slower fashion. I speak at a little bit slower rate, and I always try and include subtitles on my Facebook posts because the international audience will be able to then translate the subtitles a little bit more easily. I know who my audience is on each of the social media platforms, but the overlap of content can be the same. It's just that you have to tailor it to the folks you're connecting with. The podcast folks can be a little bit more relationship oriented. YouTube is how to, Instagram is quick hitting how to, and sometimes who I am as a person, including pictures of me coaching my kids or me with my kids doing some fun activities, because Instagram is a more holistic audience. Facebook, same thing, a little bit more focused on an international crowd versus a domestic crowd. Here's the bottom line. When it comes to content, know your audience and know who's in your audience on the social media platform and create the content accordingly. You can use content in multiple areas as long as it's tailored to the audience that you're communicating with. I'm Dave Lorenzo, and I'm here every day with a great sales strategy just like this. I want you to come back tomorrow. Be sure and subscribe. Connect with us on YouTube, on iTunes, on Google Play. I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Do This, Sell More show.